Welcome to another Water Trek 360. Recently, I've been checking out affordable budget underwater spotlights. I bought two lights on Amazon from a company called HeCloud, the 5500 LM and later the 7500 LM. Do check out my previous videos on other underwater spotlights. As always, I do not represent any one of these companies nor any other manufacturer I may reference. These opinions are my own. If you like these reviews, click like, click subscribe. Let's do a quick compare of these underwater spotlights. They're both made out of aluminum. The 5500 is depth rated to 100 meters and the 7500 claims 273 meters. Both have a rating of IPX8, IP68. They're both compact, 5¼ inches versus 5 inches. The 7500 is a little wider, 1¾ inches versus 1¼ inches at the light. They weigh in at 4.9 ounces and 7.4 ounces respectively. They both have double O-ring protection and are drop tested to 1 meter. The 5500 takes one 18650 2000 mAh battery and the 7500 one 21700 4000 mAh battery. The 5500 recharges in just under 3 hours and the 7500 just over 3 hours. Both use a charger. The 5500 has a charger with a built-in USB cable, and the 7500 has a separate older USB-A type cable. Literature claims that on high, the 5500 can last 1.75 hours and the 7500 3 hours. They both use a button switch, the 7500 on the side and the 5500 on the rear of the light. Both cycle through a high, medium, and low setting, with the 5500 having a corresponding lumen of 5500, 3000, and 1500, and the 7500 reportedly 7500, 5000, and 2300. The 5500 also has a flashing strobe by pressing on the button for a couple of seconds. 7500 has no strobe. 5500 claims a Kelvin between 55 and 6500. The 7500 does not have a Kelvin listed, but is a cool weight. Neither has a CRI. Neither indicate any battery protection, overheat protection, have remaining battery power indicator, nor whether it can be used on land. But neither has gotten hot enough that it seems to be an issue. They don't show a beam angle, but in my tests, the 5500 is about 13 to 15 degrees and the 7500 around 20 degrees. As for accessories, they both come with charger, cable, spare O-rings, a lanyard, and a manual. Let's look at my water tests. Sync tests. The 5500 stayed on for 5 hours before shutting off. It dimmed around 75 minutes, then again at 2.5 hours, then again at 4 hours, and then shutting off. Way better than advertised. The 7500, on the other hand, shut off at 1 hour and 45 minutes, half of the duration listed. In the pool, you can see the Kelvin for both is similar. The spot beam for the 5500 is pretty defined, whereas the 7500 is not. As for lumen, the 5500 was pretty good, basically what it said. The 7500, though, was very disappointing. It didn't have the punch I thought 7500 lumen should have. In overlapping tests, the 5500 seemed way brighter and for me clearly outperformed the 7500. I retested topside with both, then I rechecked the manuals for both. Much to my dismay, the manual for the 7500 indicated a max lumen of 2000. I did open water tests on the 5500. It performed pretty well. The tight beam got into crevices and holes. Normally dive in low vis, so this was better than expected. I purchased the 7500 easily a month after the 5500. I was so disappointed with the sink and pool tests, I didn't bother doing an open water test with it. So what did I like and dislike? Both are depth rated over 100 meters, although the 273 seems a bit suspect now. They are compact and light. Both cost under $100, $40 for the 5500 and $58 for the 7500. Their memory functions were a nice feature. They both claim double O-ring protection. However, they show 2 sets of double O-ring usage. For me, this is just another point of failure. These would fit well on my helmet. That said, I didn't like that the 5500 has this rear button, and even when handheld, the on-off motion is a bit cumbersome. Additionally, the button well itself retains water. Make sure you dry that out completely, including holding down on the button after usage to allow additional water to escape, especially with repeated saltwater usage. I like that the 5500 had a really long runtime and a tight beam. That was its major selling point, along with cost. The 7500, despite being more robust looking, didn't have a strobe, and more importantly, the lumen is not as bright as advertised. I contacted the company to see if I got an older inventory version that only had 2000 lumen. I've gotten no answer to date, so I'm returning the light. So, overall, clearly for me, the 5500 was the winner. I give it a thumbs up, and I will use it as a backup light on my BC. No expectations greater than that. The 7500, though, gets a thumbs down. The lumen discrepancy was just too much for me to handle. I've purchased other budget lights before that have performed way better than the 7500 LM. If the company responds, I will update the video's description and let you know. So, that's my take. Let me know what you think. I still have more lights that I'll be reviewing shortly, so, watch for those. Anyway, as always, my friends, stay safe in your dive adventures, and remember, go explore, get wet,